Hello friends, this is Worm, and it's Wednesday, which means it's time for another episode, of course, What If Wednesday, the series where we talk about weird, wild what ifs of Destiny 2. And today I wanted to talk about a weird, wild what if that's not really weird and wild, because we've already had some leaks that this is a possibility, and that is Black Armory weapons, as well as Recluse and Hammerhead specifically, coming back to Destiny 2. Of course, in case you missed it in another YouTuber's video or you didn't check the Eververse calendar, this season, up until the final shape drops, we got some, the Eververse store on, I want to say todayindestiny.com or whatever it is, showed that we are getting Recluse ornaments and Hammerhead ornaments. Now, Recluse, of course, is a post-traumatic stress-inducing legendary weapon, pinnacle weapon from a long time ago. It's a Void SMG. At one point it was, I would honestly probably say it's probably the strong, like in the grand scheme of things, it's the strongest weapon that's ever existed in Destiny 2, of course, in its prime. Has been nerfed, it's not as viable, and of course it's sunset. But yeah, there's that one. And of course Hammerhead. Hammerhead was the Black Armory machine gun, which came to us all the way in the days of Black Armory. And the ornaments are being sold for these weapons between now and final shape. We don't know exactly when, but it begs the question, are these weapons coming back? And the answer most likely is, of course, yes. And the reason why is because why on earth would Bungie sell an ornament for a weapon that is sunset that doesn't have a revamped counterpart to it, or a current up-to-date counterpart to it? So naturally, people are starting to think, hey, they're bringing back Recluse and Hammerhead. And it also begs the question, like, surely those aren't the only two weapons. Like, those two weapons are both from the Black Armory season, so are they bringing back all of the Black Armory weapons? And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that and what it would look like in Destiny 2. Of course, let's get the elephant out of the room, which is Recluse. Now, just a second ago I said that Recluse was a post-traumatic stress inducing weapon, and that's very true, because Recluse at one point was an absolute menace. Unfortunately, I did not have recording capability back when Recluse was in its strongest, but I remember vividly going on absolute rampages with Recluse and One-Eyed Mask, which granted, One-Eyed Mask really helped that whole situation out a lot, but Recluse could get a 0.47 second time to kill with body shots only, which was absolutely insane. And it happened after every single kill with a weapon that you got, whether it was Recluse or not Recluse, whether, if you had a sniper in your kinetic slot or a heavy weapon, no matter what kind of kills you got, that's what its perk, which was called Master of Arms, did for Recluse. That's why it was so menacing. Of course, since those days, Bungie has nerfed Master of Arms so that it doesn't deal as much body shot damage. If I'm not mistaken, it deals like 21 or 22 crit damage, and then it ups the body damage to like 15 or something instead of 11. I don't know exactly the numbers for it, but it's definitely been nerfed from its former glory days. But I wanted to talk about this first because without Master of Arms, Recluse is really, it's just a Void SMG, a Vice Void 900 round per minute SMG. It's nothing special, and it makes me wonder what Bungie is going to do to make it special. Now, of course, we have seen pinnacle perks be brought back and put on just regular legendary weapons. Take Breakneck, for example. Breakneck used to be the only weapon that could have Onslaught on it, and now we've got a bunch of weapons. In fact, I just got a Subsistence Onslaught Rasa Rago like last night playing the Crucible, which was really awesome. But with that being said, what would set Recluse apart from other Void SMGs? And specifically, would they bring back Master of Arms? Now, I want to talk about Master of Arms first, because Master of Arms, of course, is that kind of paramount perk. I'm going to be honest, I could see them bringing it back in a even more nerf state than it currently is in. Of course, the activation requirement is a kill with any weapon. So unlike, say, something like Rampage, for example, Rampage, which, you can get a kill with the same weapon, you can activate Master of Arms with any weapon, which automatically makes it a tier above something like Rampage. Now, of course, the damage doesn't stack, which that's kind of one of the things that Rampage has going for it, but I could see them bringing back Master of Arms as not so much a just really heavy hitter, but as something to just boost your damage, to kind of feed you kills as you go along. Now, another important thing to remember here is Recluse was a PvP a PvP legendary, PvP pinnacle weapon, but I think that the reality is the majority of players that got Recluse got it specifically for PvE, because it was also fantastic inside of PvE, and I think that the likelihood that Bungie leans into making Master of Arms more of a PvE focused perk as opposed to a PvP focused perk is probably pretty good. Of course, the pairings with Master of Arms, I could honestly see them bringing back Feeding Frenzy, which Feeding Frenzy, again, back in the day, it didn't have this like stacking effect. Like it was just, you get a kill, you got a flat, 50 whatever to your reload, maybe something like that. Better than Outlaw. Now, of course, it stacks up, which I think would make Recluse be, I mean, that combo would kind of fit. You know, Master of Arms, getting a kill increases your damage, and then, you know, having Feeding Frenzy to go along with it. But outside of just Master of Arms, like, I think we would probably see some pretty staple combos. Disruption Break, Repulsor Brace, that I don't see Recluse coming back without that. Like there's no way Bungie could bring that. Of course, the only submachine gun we have currently with destabilizing rounds and Repulsor Brace is the title. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of it. The title, which is from Guardian Games, which is going on right now. So I could see Bungie bringing the Recluse in and having that combo. Of course, we'd probably see our normal damage boosting combos. You know, Kill Clip for sure. Again, maybe if they brought back Master of Arms, Rampage, Dragonfly, and stuff like that. So that's Recluse. That's kind of my thoughts on Recluse. Like, I don't know how they're going to do Master of Arms, because again, if you take Master of Arms out of the equation, Recluse is basically just a funnel web. You know, it's not anything special. What made it special, outside of maybe the stats, because I don't have the data here, but I'm pretty sure Recluse did have a little bit above average stats at its time. I don't know, since Recluse has been sunset, if there's been better SMGs. I'm sure there has been better SMGs, but I don't know in terms of stats, like where Recluse places now compared to other 900 round SMGs. But if they take out Master of Arms, they're going to have to really wow us with some of the combos that you can get. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the same combos that we see on the Prophecy weapon. You know, was it Prospector? No, not the Prospector. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. The auto rifle, the Arc auto rifle. You can get Dragonfly Volt Shot. That's a really neat combo. Maybe we could see stuff like that on Recluse. But moving on from Recluse, I want to talk about Hammerhead. Of course, Hammerhead is more than likely going to be making a return to us. And Hammerhead was a beloved light machine gun, or machine gun, I guess technically. It was a beloved machine gun. It looked absolutely fantastic. You know, it really carried the load. It was the first machine gun, if I'm not mistaken, the first machine gun that we got back in Destiny 2, which was also a big factor in it. But my concern with bringing in Hammerhead is it's going to have to directly compete with Commemoration and Corrective Measure to a degree. I think Commemoration is goated. Okay, Commemoration has some nutty rolls. Reconstruction and Killing Tally is a fantastic role for PvE. It's got, you know, of course, destabilizing rounds, rapid hit, stuff like that. It's got some great perks on it. And if you bring back Hammerhead, they're really going to have to wow us with some of these perks. But I also don't think that they should just power creep Commemoration. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. I don't think they should necessarily just power creep Commemoration, but you know, with Hammerhead coming back, like it's got a lot of competition, and the main competition for me is a crafted Hammerhead. I'm sorry, crafted Commemoration. So that's kind of that, and then of course all the Black Armory weapons. So both of these weapons came with the Black Armory season. Even though Recluse technically wasn't a Black Armory weapon, it came out at the same time Black Armory did. And I really do see this being a possibility. Like, Bungie knows that Destiny's not really in a good spot right now. Its players are dropping off like flies because the season is boring. We still have months till Lightfall. We still have 3 months at least, roughly, till Lightfall, which is a long time to be waiting. Like, this, it's the equivalent of basically a whole another season, another season. And we're not even getting into the light until April, which is a little less than a month away anyways still. So I think that Bungie knows that they're really going to have to, you know, bring players back somehow. And what better way than to bring back Black Armory weapons? And this is something I have said for years to people, even when I first started making my YouTube channel and doing videos. I talked about this, and that is that Bungie is holding on to Black Armory weapons when they need a wild card, because they know that players love and adore the Black Armory weapons, because of course back in the day we have that nostalgia of the fantastic rolls they had, because at the time the rolls that some of those weapons could get were unique, incredibly unique. You know, Rampage and Kill Clip on Kindled Orchid, for example. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think we ever got another 140 hand cannon that can roll with that trait combo. Like, that was it was a 140 hand cannon that could 2-tap in the Crucible once you got it going because of that trait combination. Do I also think that there's maybe a reason why it was taken out of the game? Yeah, I do. I think that there's you know, the likelihood it was, you know, that's the only hand cannon we ever got with that combo was because Bungie realized that was really strong. So I don't really know if they'd come back with that. But with that being said, like, so many players had a deep attachment to the Black Armory weapons. And in fact, the video we just did a couple weeks ago where we said Black Armory was not as good as you remember, we talked about really the only thing that came out of that out of that season that was really stood out are the weapons. And I think that a lot of people, like, they hold on to these weapons. I mean, I hold on to the idea of these weapons because that's something that's inarguable. Like, the weapons at the time were fantastic. They had amazing rolls. Rampage Dragonfly on Ringing Nail, I think I still have that in my vaults, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Blast Furnace was a great pulse rifle. Kindled Orchid, Tatara Gaze, Spiteful Fang, like, all of these weapons were fantastic back in the day. And of course, we need them to be fantastic. Like, if Bungie is going to bring them into Destiny, you know, the current sandbox, they need to have those special roles that set them apart without, I would say, without encroaching on maybe raid weapons. Like, I think that some roles should definitely be reserved for in-game weapons, you know, kill clip and kinetic trimmers, for example. You can get that on Chattering Bone. Chattering Bone's a raid weapon. I don't think that combo would really have a place on a non in-game weapon. Yeah, non-in-game weapon, that's what I'd say. But with that being said, I think that if Bungie really wants to go all out with the Black Armory weapons, I'm not opposed to it. Like, I'm not opposed to giving players an opportunity to get, like, in-game tier weapons, you know, from these Black Armory weapons, which, by the way, will more than likely be craftable. I don't see Bungie bringing Black Armory weapons back and not making them craftable. But yeah, I mean, it's a super exciting, like, prospect that they could be bringing back these old weapons that players just love and adored. Of course, in terms of damage types, I could see them changing up some of the damage types. I could see them making, you know, something like maybe Blast Furnace into a stasis weapon, or what was another kinetic weapon? I think Spiteful Fang was a kinetic bow. I could be mistaken, but they maybe make Spiteful Fang a strand bow, something like that. I could see them changing up the actual damage archetypes so that they fit in a little bit better with our current meta. Like, nothing would be worse than getting these Black Armory weapons back and none of them meld with our stasis and our strand aspect. So that's kind of, you know, I think that they might change the weapon elemental damage types, and we might even see some changes like we saw with Prophecy here, you know, where they changed Darkest before. They changed Darkest before from an arc pulse rifle to a solar pulse rifle. Like, we might see Kindle Orchid shift to a strand hand cannon. You know, we might see Tatara Gaze turn into a solar sniper. I don't really know. We might see Hammerhead return to us as, you know, a solar weapon, which it was Void back in the day. But I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here, but it's definitely an exciting, like, prospect, like I said, to see that, hey, like, Black Armory weapons could be making a comeback. And I think the last thing to talk about here is how would we introduce them to the story without, like, just saying, here you go, like, because they can't just be added in, just, hey, here's these weapons willy-nilly. Like, there's got to be some type of story. And I'm kind of going to make a prediction here, and that is, what if Bungie makes 801 come to the Guardian at the start of Into the Light to get prepared? And she said, hey, you know, we have the Black Armory, the forges have been out of commission, but we know that you're about to go in for this crazy thing, you know, to confront the witness. We want you to have the best weapons possible. And so she reopens the forges, and I could see that happening. I could see the forges being reopened, hopefully redone, so that it's not just pick up a ball and throw it at a thing. Like, hopefully there's more steps to it, more unique factors, and hopefully you can't AFK in it, because I know there's a lot of AFK back in actual Season 7 Black Armory. But yeah, with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on, you know, Recluse and Hammerhead coming back, as well as the prospect of Black Armory weapons being added back to the game. Personally, I really like the idea of these weapons coming back, and I know a lot of people say, oh, we don't like rehash content, we don't like you know, what is the term that they used? I can't remember. They use a specific term for it, but basically bringing back old content refreshed. Most people don't like the idea of that. I don't really like the idea of that, but I think that the Black Armory is one exception, because Black Armory had some wonderful looking weapons, had some wonderful feeling weapons, and hey, who knows, maybe we could see some additional weapons added to the pool. You know, we never got a Black Armory SMG. Maybe we see a Black Armory SMG come out. I think that would be really awesome. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I guess the last thing, of course, not Wrath the Machine, Scourge of the Past was the raid, and some of the Black Armory weapons came in that raid. I don't know if Bungie would bring those back. So things like Tempered Dynamo, Bellowing Giants, What was another one? Threat level, the shotgun. Threat level. I don't know if they would bring those back into Destiny 2 because those were raid weapons, but I would hope to see them in Destiny 2. Like, I would definitely want to see them come back. I don't think there's a good reason not to bring back all the Black Armory weapons. And, you know, it's unfortunate because we've seen in the past Bungie's kind of done this thing where, you know, they'll bring back a couple of weapons from a particular season slash, you know, whatever. They don't bring back all of them. I hope that if they're gonna go for Black Armory, they need to go big or go home. They need to bring back all the weapons, including the raid weapons, with the exception of Anarchy. That obviously Anarchy is a little bit different story, but all the legendary Black Armory weapons, whether they're from the raid or not, need to come back to the game. But yeah, I think that's officially it. We talked for almost 16 minutes now, but yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Black Armory coming back. Do you like the idea of it? What are some of your hopes for it? Do you think it's a load of bogus BS, so to speak? Yeah, just let me know all those in the comments. Of course, if you like today's video, drop a like, helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. And guys, do me a favor, watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you will like them. I will see y'all next time. Bye for now. Congratulations, you are now breathing manually.